mega novel is a really dang huge novel. Now, like a lot of the things postmodernists do, this isn't new to postmodernism. We can go back in time and we can find really big books. But, as with many things postmodern, what happens is the postmodernists take this aspect or technique and they really run with it in a way that we've never seen before. So we are seeing more truly big books, and I would say the books are bigger in the postmodern era than what we're used to getting before. What we used to think of as an epic is just much less epic than the epics we're getting now. So let's look at some real books to put this in perspective. So this is Ulysses. This is the beast of modernism. This is the famously long and amazingly big book. And if you've read Ulysses, people go, oh, wow, you read Ulysses. Okay, this sucker is weighing in at 650 pages. 650 pages for the beast of modernism. That's like, I think, Dune's about that. Maybe longer, right? And so that at the time, in that era, was considered to be a really big book. Now, there were a few really big books. If you ever try to crawl through War and Peace or Dr. Zhivago, you know what I'm talking about, a remembrance of things past. These are really big books, but there's very few of them compared to what we're getting now, which is this is much more common as a thing for a postmodernist to do. Now let's look at the famous, lengthy, gigantic, epic beast of postmodernism. I am talking, of course, about Gravity's Rainbow, Thomas Pynchon's Gravity's Rainbow. This sucker comes in at 760 pages. 760 pages, so already considerably longer than Ulysses, and I know that word count is a better way to do it, but I don't have a handy word count. So we'll use pages as shorthand unless the books seem to cram a lot in or something along those lines. So this is already getting bigger, and this is the famous beast of postmodernism. And to put things in perspective, I have the Christine Brook-Rose Omnibus, which also comes in at almost the same amount, 742 pages. But this is 4 books under one cover, right? As opposed to Gravity's Rainbow, which is just Gravity's Rainbow. So you go, okay, that's a big, giant, beastly book, right? 750 pages. That's a long book. A lot of books are, 200 pages. I could be reading 4 other books in the time it takes me to read that one book. So, okay, fine. Let's see what else we've got. Let's look at some other ones. Darconville's Cat, Alexander Thereux, a famously big and long book, coming in at 704 pages. Letters by John Barth is coming in shy of 800, something like 750. 772, Letters by John Barth, which I'm guessing is Barth's longest individual work. I didn't quite do the homework on that, but I'm feeling pretty confident about that. William H. Gass, The Tunnel, I think breaks 800. Let's have a look. Oh, no, not at all. 651. So William S. Gass's The Tunnel comes in at 651. Still a big book and a famously big book. And then we come to Infinite Jest. Infinite Jest comes out with 1996, tops 1,000 pages, and is famous for so many things. It's famously a difficult read. It's famously an open novel. It's got lots of literary technique. It's like it tries to do kind of everything, a little bit of everything that postmodernism has, and that includes length, more than 1,000 pages. Big, giant book. And when you talk to people who have read Infinite Jest, if you're impressed, you go, ooh, you've read Infinite Jest. A lot of that is because of the scope and size of the book. It's not just the difficulty. Great big book, tops 1,000 pages. Now, what's some of the stuff that we see post Infinite Jest? This is Novel Explosives by Jim Gauer. I think it's only around 700, 710, 720 pages, right? So, but still, Whole lot longer than Ulysses, right? Underworld by Don DeLillo is probably in the ballpark of 750. Let's have a look here. No, I'm wrong. 800 something. Tops 800. 827. Underworld by Don DeLillo. Tops 827. We've got XX or Double X. Not sure how you pronounce that actually, by Ryan Hughes. This comes in, same kind of thing. 900. Here we go. We're up to over 900. 975. So nearly 1,000 pages for Double X by Ryan Hughes, right? Big book. Big book. House of Leaves is famous for its length. One of the things people talk about with House of Leaves is how long it is. Mark Danielewski, very important book, gets huge amount of attention, kind of a masterclass in postmodernism. Coming in, weighing in here at 709. 709 pages for House of Leaves, which you think is a big book, but it actually kind of gets blown aside by Tom's Crossing, which is coming in at more than 1,000 pages, right? So big old Tom's Crossing, more than 1,000 pages. You say, okay, well, Danielewski, now he's showing us how he can really put some length into his work, okay? We got that, so that's all pretty good. We're getting pretty big, but let's look at Alan Moore's Jerusalem. Thud, right? Alan Moore's Jerusalem comes in at, I think, 1,200 something. And I know the word count on this. It's around the ballpark of 750,000 words, right? So it's absolutely enormous. 1266. Absolutely enormous, huge, giant work from Alan Moore. The Mystery of Doc, TheMystery.doc by Michael Macintosh exceeds 1,600 pages in length. It's beginning to look like a cube. is how big it is. It's getting close to being the same in all dimensions. 16 something, 1,600 and etc. of The Mystery.doc by Michael Macintosh. But if you, as the listener, are sitting there thinking, hey, wait a minute, Tim, hold on. When you talked about Mark Danielewski, you missed the big kahuna. You're absolutely right, I did, because I wanted to save it for last. This is the big kahuna. That's the familiar. My desk shook. You saw the camera shake when I dropped it. This is the familiar by Mark Danielewski. Only 5 volumes were printed, each of them coming in at roughly 800 pages, in the ballpark of 800 pages. But these are all volumes of a single novel, The Familiar, that had it's gone through its full planned course, was planned for 26 volumes. Now, The Familiar is done being printed, at least by this printing house, and the reason was that they were just losing too much money. They were taking a bath and they're saying, sorry, we can't lose the amount of money we need to lose to print this whole thing. So they cut it off after volume 5. Will Danielewski ever finish this with another printing house? I don't know. I will say I'm not entirely sad that that didn't occur, because I have to imagine that if he were still making his way through The Familiar, that we never would have gotten Tom's Crossing. And I think Tom's Crossing is such a marvelous book, a masterpiece. I love it so much. And part of what I love about it is it's Mark Danielewski showing us range that is very different from what he showed us before. He is breaking out of what we've seen before and going in a very different direction, where a lot of his work was very much flocking together with the kind of things we saw in House of Leaves. Suddenly with Tom's Crossing, it feels very original and different and unique. And so I hope I've made the point that though there were long works before, the scale and length and number of mega novels we're getting now is very different and much greater than the mega novels we had before. Now, why is this happening? What is going on here, postmodernists? What is going on? We've talked in previous episodes, including my What is Postmodernism episode, about how a lot of what you see in postmodernism is you see writers who are trying to find the unexplored territory. They're trying to find things that allow them to be different from what came before. And if they stumble on a technique or a trope that is separate from what we see really previously in history, then a lot of authors will really lean into that. And they'll try to explore the full ramifications of that. And they'll try to really cover the ground and explore and understand what we can get out of that technique. And mega novels, though they were written, certainly were not exhaustively explored by our predecessors. And so we see a bunch of authors who are going through the process of exhaustively exploring that now. And I will point out that when I went through the size and scale of all of these incredible novels, I'm going to make a stack here, and you won't see me anymore because they will cover my face, that this incredible set of novels, these ones here, are all the stuff that came after Infinite Jest. And so the biggest and longest ones that we have, TheMystery.doc, The Familiar, Jerusalem, Novel Explosives, these are all post XX. These are all post Infinite Jest. These are all things that have been written since 1996. And the other mega novels we were looking at earlier that are famously for how long they are: Letters, Darconville's Cat, Gravity's Rainbow. These are the stuff before Infinite Jest. So what we're seeing is that postmodern authors, really up through today, this is something that's going on right now, are really interested in the idea of what can scale and scope give me that is different from what we've seen before. And a lot of these guys take these in different directions and do different things with it. And it's worth coming back and looking at a lot of these novels individually, or including them in some of the techniques and tendencies that we're going to talk about. And I think that's a big part of it. And again, it's not that we don't see them before, but again, little Ulysses, famously long Ulysses, looks tiny compared to some of the stuff that I showed you afterward, because it is. And this is one of the trends we're seeing. The mega novel, they're getting longer. It's not over. And a lot of them are doing really interesting things in the mega novel format. So we will be returning to these in the future. But that is the mega novel. Thank you.